2 weeks ago I had a dream, and in that dream I was given this vision.
Your dream told you that Trump is going to win, and then Ivanka, and then Don Jr. and Eric. Tiffany is going to win in 2048, and then Barron. These are mostly one-term presidents.
No, you're not reading it right. But what's the date?
Ivanka is 2024, and 2028.
That's 8 years.
That's 4 years.
The whole Apollo program was a complete fabrication.
How much the Bush administration ignored the intelligence. It was almost like they ignored it because they wanted it to happen.
So you believe that President Obama's birth certificate is a phony?
No doubt about it.
The official story of Sandy Hook has more holes in it than Swiss cheese. So don't ever think the globalists that have hijacked this country wouldn't stage something like this. They kill little kids all day, every day. And it's
a hidden hand manipulating humanity's destiny through the shadows, using those who seem to be in power.
Conspiracy theory, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is a belief that some secret but influential organization is responsible for an event or phenomenon. There are 3 kinds of conspiracy theories depending upon how plausible it sounds. This is the first kind.
At 12:30 p.m. local time, as the president's open-top limousine reached Dealey Plaza, 3 gunshots were fired at the convoy. 2 bullets hit the president, 1 wounded him at the back of the neck and throat, the other caused a massive and fatal head injury. The president was pronounced dead at 1 p.m. in an historic announcement that stunned America. A government investigation found the shots were fired from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository by 24-year-old Lee Harvey Oswald. But the suspect was never tried. 2 days later, he was shot dead by local cabaret owner Jack Ruby during a prison transfer. The fact the identity of Kennedy's assassin was never proven in the courts has given rise to various alternative and unproven theories as to what really happened.
Most people believe there was a conspiracy involving a group of people or an organization like the FBI, CIA, US military, the mafia, the Vice President Fidel Castro, or the KGB. In fact, if you believe the official version that Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone gunman to have shot and killed JFK, you are part of a minority of about 20 to 30% of Americans who believe that. This is the second kind of conspiracy theory.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs. For the first time, radar images recorded inside a Navy ship have confirmed the presence of several unknown objects that swarmed around the ship for hours.
Because when the New York Times is reporting about it and saying that this is major news and this is real and there's video evidence that they can't ignore, it starts to change the conversation in a lot of people's eyes.
Whether or not the evidence is credible, some evidence is cited. You can either ignore the cited evidence and call them crazy, or you can at least acknowledge them. Like Joe Rogan mentioned, serious news organizations like the New York Times have talked about it.
Take 2 and 2, 1. This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the 2 towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
Another conspiracy theory that falls in the second category that credible organizations don't take seriously is the theory that 9/11 attacks was an insider job by the CIA and Israel, and that the collapse of the Twin Towers resulted from controlled demolitions rather than structural failure due to impact and fire. Millions of Americans and even more in the Middle East believe such a theory, but they at least cite some evidence and try to sound logically coherent even if they might be mistaken. But then there are these third kinds of conspiracies.
Is that a Q?
Yeah.
Are you a Q supporter?
Certainly.
Wasn't Q's whole thing that Trump would be reinstated as president?
He's never left. There's no doubt in my mind, 150,000%.
That he's still president of the United States? Really? Does he still hold the powers of the presidency?
Well, he's been flying around the world on Air Force One. It says something.
I thought Joe Biden's technically on Air Force One. No. So they're faking it?
Yeah, it's not even a presidency.
Who is running the government right now?
President Trump.
He's running the government.
And the military.
And he's running the military. So we should blame him for what happened in Afghanistan?
No.
But it's still his fault.
It's way beyond my
understanding.
I'm
Thank you for talking to me, George. Enjoy seeing current President Trump.
Thank you.
These are conspiracies without any theories. Its proponents don't even bother with any evidence, and they don't even try to sound logically coherent. They just make assertions and believe in what they believe. I used to think that only a small number of people believe in such theories, especially the second and the third kind of conspiracies I mentioned above. But according to several polls that were conducted over the decades, a truly stunning number of people actually believe in these stories. In 2021, 17% of Americans believe that the government uses some kind of classified mind control technology in TV broadcasting. 40% of Americans believe that regardless of who is officially in charge of the government and other organizations, there is a single group of people who secretly control events and rule the world together, like the Illuminati, the Freemasons, or the Jews. 30% of Americans believe top Democrats are involved in elite child sex trafficking rings, and 1 in 5, that is 20% of Americans, believe that vaccines have been shown to cause autism. Not that vaccines cause autism, that it has been proven that vaccines cause autism. One would think it's something very easy to look up on Google and debunk. I always wondered who these people were who believe in such weird ideas. I thought they must be uneducated and ignorant. It's tempting to blame general backwardness or ignorance for this epidemic of conspiracy. Tempting, but it turns out wrong. As David Aaronovitch explains in his book Voodoo Histories, conspiracy theories originate and are largely circulated among the educated and middle class. The idea that all those who believe in conspiracy theories must be ignorant peasants who are prone to believing whatever their priests tell them is completely wrong. It has typically been the professors, the university students, the managers, the journalists, and the civil servants who have concocted and disseminated the conspiracies. Conspiratorial thinking is not limited to the stupid, ignorant, or the crazy. There are two other popular notions about who it is that actually believes in conspiracy theories. The first is that it is conservative Republicans who believe in conspiracy theories, not Democrats. It seems plausible, but there is no conclusive proof for this. Liberal Democrats, for instance, are more likely to believe that Donald Trump is a Russian spy and that Russia secretly controls American foreign policy. People also think that it is only Americans who believe in conspiracy theories. That is definitely not true. The Chinese are fascinated by the Rothschild family and believe that they planned the rise of Hitler, the 1997 Asian financial crisis, and climate change. Few countries have a more deeply ingrained culture of creating conspiracy theories than Congo. Almost all politicians, including the president, use conspiracy theories to mobilize mobs in the streets. In France, a documentary alleging that COVID-19 was invented by political elites as part of a conspiracy to bring down a new world order was watched 2.5 million times in 3 days. Conspiracy theories have been circulating ever since mass printing technology existed. With the advent of the internet, we are now in the golden age of conspiracies. But why do conspiracy theories exist, and why are we so vulnerable to them?
I know you're an army doctor and you've been invalided home from Afghanistan. I know you've got a brother who's worried about you, but you won't go to him for help because you don't approve of him, possibly because he's an alcoholic, more likely because he recently walked out on his wife. And I know that your therapist thinks you're limp psychosomatic, quite correctly, I'm afraid. It's enough to be going on with, don't you think? The name's Sherlock Holmes and the address is 221B Baker Street. Afternoon.
Yeah, he's always like that.
These details come from the first Sherlock Holmes novel, A Study in Scarlet. In the above scene, which is a recreation, Watson meets Sherlock Holmes for the first time in a chemistry lab. And for the first of 1,000 times, the wizard blows Watson's mind by asking him if he's been to Afghanistan or Iraq.
It's an old friend of mine, John Watson.
Afghanistan or Iraq? Sorry? Which was it, Afghanistan or Iraq?
Watson is dumbstruck. How could Holmes have known this? Sherlock Holmes is a fictional genius of criminal investigation who has a spooky ability to reason backwards from ordinary details of his appearance, to make rational inferences about Watson's life. Holmes says, I know you're an army doctor and you've come from an invalid home from Afghanistan. You have a brother who is worried about you, but you wouldn't go to him not because he's an alcoholic, more likely because he recently walked out on his wife. And I know your therapist thinks your limp is psychosomatic quite correctly. Whenever Holmes tells Watson such tales, Watson shakes his head in amazement. And we are supposed to take a cue from Watson and get thrilled at the detective's genius. Watson, who is not so much a character as a literary device, whose job is to highlight Holmes' brilliance through his own conventionality. While Sherlock Holmes' stories are good fun, it's important to notice that Holmes' method is ridiculous. Watson is not carrying his medical bag or wearing a stethoscope around his neck. How did Holmes reason he was an army doctor? How did he know that he has a brother and not a sister? How did he know that he was an alcoholic and that he walked out on his wife? How does he know that his brother is not gay? How did Holmes deduce Watson was a psychosomatic? It's all impressive, but if you think critically, it's ridiculous. Sherlock Holmes' usual method is to fabricate the most confident and completely explanatory stories from the most ambiguous clues. Holmes seizes on one of 100 different interpretations of a clue and arbitrarily insists that the interpretation is correct. All of us are Sherlock Holmes in a way. Evolution has given in all of us an inner Holmes, because we also have a tendency to take bits of information and weave elaborate stories even if facts don't support it.
Nancy Pelosi, she is very responsible for what went on then. She planned it.
She planned what happened?
I believe so.
Why did she plan to get attacked by a mob of Trump supporters?
Because she wanted to be able to blame it on the Trump supporters and have something bad to say about them.
Shouldn't we investigate that?
Yes.
So you must be watching the January 6th committee.
No.
Isn't that what most of the conspiracy theories are? We all have a storytelling mind, which allows us to experience our lives as coherent, orderly, and meaningful. The storytelling mind is allergic to uncertainty, randomness, and coincidence. Even though the world we live in can be quite random, our minds are addicted to meaning. Our hunger for meaningful patterns translates into a hunger for story. In short, the storytelling mind is a factory that churns out true stories when it can, but will manufacture lies when it can't. In the imaginative world of conspiracy theorists, there is no accidental badness. To the conspiratorial mind, shit never happens. History is not just one damn thing after another, and only gullible and naive people who are easily influenced believe in coincidences. For them, the masses are a brainwashed herd, while the conspiracy theorists have secret knowledge unknown or unappreciated by others. Research conducted by Roland Imhoff, professor in social psychology, shows that people believe in conspiracy theory, only a few other people believe in it. If everyone believes in what they believe, they will stop believing in that conspiracy and look for another niche crazy theory to believe in. It's almost as if they believe in crazy theories because it makes them feel special about penetrating the plotter's deceptions. There are many unanswered questions like, why are things so bad in the world? Why is there so much suffering? Why do bad things happen to good people? We live in a very complex world that no one can fully explain. But we humans are storytelling animals with a compulsive need for meaningful experience. Conspiracy theories offer ultimate answers to the great mysteries of the human condition and help people find meaning in a disturbingly random world. Conspiracy theories are always consoling in their simplicity. Bad things do not happen because of a wildly complex swirl of abstract historical and social variables. They happen because evil men do evil things to destroy our happiness. And you can fight and possibly even defeat evil men if you can understand their conspiracy. While some people believe in conspiracy theories because they cannot or will not fight their storytelling mind, some people believe in them because it's profitable. Alex Jones, the host of the alarmist far-right show InfoWars, is perhaps the most successful visible example of someone building an empire out of peddling conspiracy theories. The more absurd, the better. But he's not alone. Conspiracy theories about how the government is deliberately spreading COVID-19 to make money for the pharma companies flourish on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. William Coleshill, a young political entrepreneur, travels around London with a camera live streaming footage from usually thin protests to a YouTube channel called Resistance GB. He argues that COVID-19 is a plot to justify communist government. His channel has 70,000 subscribers and is growing fast. An online anti-vaccine network sells heavy metal detox spray for $95 and marine plasma drinking seawater for $49.95. Though conspiracy theories have always existed, today something is different and dangerous. Today we have conspiracy theories without the theory. Gone are the days when conspiracy mongers had to find bits of evidence and contort it to convince people. Now they just have to assert what they believe in. It is a powerful force with the capacity to animate popular fury, to delegitimize political opposition, and to hijack government institutions. We all saw what happened on January 6, 2021, when a group of Trump supporters who believed that the election had been stolen stormed the Capitol building. How can conspiracy theories be discouraged? Many look to technology firms because today anyone can say anything to everyone in the world instantly and for free on platforms like Twitter, Facebook, etc. All it takes is a few casual likes and retweets to give credibility to senseless, destructive rumors. When Twitter and Facebook banned Donald Trump on January 6, 2021, with 14 days of his presidency remaining, many Democrats cheered. But do we want a few unelected and unaccountable executives at tech companies deciding who should be allowed to say what in a democracy? Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany, Alexei Navalny, the Russian dissident, and even Jack Dorsey, former CEO of Twitter, called it a dangerous precedent. An act that silenced the enemies of Democrats could become a precedent for silencing them in future, making the tech industry more competitive by diluting the clout of individual firms like Twitter or Meta and stimulating new business models that do not rely on virality are good long-term solutions. Until that happens, the government should step in and decide what should be censored. Difficult judgments should fall to independent, non-statutory boards that give people the right to appeal. Even the best of governments may not beat conspiracy theories, but they can give them a run for their money. Thank you for watching till the end. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll also like this one. And please consider subscribing. Subscriptions really help with the YouTube algorithm and in promoting the channel. I'm Sharat Mantravadi. Thanks for watching.